If you've ever seen a sitcom family that looks perfect from the outside, congratulations. That wasn't us. From the outside, we looked fine: white picket fence, dog that barks at leaves, a mom who posts prayer hands emojis under videos she didn't watch. But inside? Let's just say, if dysfunction were an Olympic sport, we'd be bringing home gold. My name's Mason. I'm 23 now, but this story really kicked off when I was 21 and my little sister Sierra finished her first semester of college. Just one. Not a degree, not a thesis, just 14 weeks of eating meal prep from Pinterest and taking filtered mirror selfies in the library she didn't study in. You'd think she cured cancer the way my parents reacted. They threw her a party. A real one. With custom banners, a taco bar, string lights in the backyard, and even a guy playing acoustic covers of Bruno Mars. You know what I got when I finished my full automotive certification? A half-deflated balloon that said "Congrats grad" from the dollar store, left over from someone else's celebration. But Sierra? Oh, Sierra got a car. Brand new. Candy apple red. Heated seats. The kind of car that chirps when you lock it, like it's proud of itself. I stood there clapping while Mom handed her the keys and said, "You earned this, baby. We're just so proud." I looked at my dad. He gave me a sideways nod like he was acknowledging the thermostat had been adjusted, not his son. To be fair, I wasn't jealous of the car. I was jealous of what it meant. Celebration. Validation. A moment. I'd spent 14 months pulling night shifts at Rick's Auto and Tire while juggling classes at a trade school an hour away, sleeping in my truck sometimes between jobs, drinking instant coffee strong enough to dissolve regret. No one came to my certification ceremony. No one even asked when it was. When I told my mom I'd passed all my exams and was officially licensed, she smiled while slicing vegetables and said, "Well, that's nice, honey. You've always been good with your hands." Like I'd made a birdhouse. Sierra posted her car on Instagram with the caption, "She believed she could, so she parked crooked anyway, woman tipping hand #blessed." I posted a photo of my name stitched into a dark blue uniform shirt. No likes. Not even from my mom. And yes, she follows me. I didn't say anything. I never really did. See, in my house, Sierra was the main character. She was sparkly and loud and wore oversized sunglasses to indoor places. I was the background music. The B-roll footage. The guy who helped move furniture and then got cropped out of the family photos. But I didn't complain. I got up early. I worked hard. Rick liked me enough to bump me to full-time. Said I didn't talk much but I listened, and that was rare in our line of work. And slowly, I started saving. Not a lot. But enough. While Sierra was going viral for her graduation cap design that said, "Hotter by the degree," I was underneath a 2004 Civic trying to dislodge a rusted bolt with nothing but prayer and elbow grease. Still, I smiled when she got the car. Clapped even. Ate the tacos and kept my mouth shut when Dad gave a toast that ended with, "She's gonna change the world." He never said that to me. The closest I ever got was, "Don't screw this job up. Rick's giving you a shot." It's weird, the stuff that sticks to your ribs. Like when I fixed Mom's washing machine and she said, "You'd make a great husband someday, handy and humble." But when Sierra got an A in philosophy, she said, "My daughter's gonna be a CEO." Even my aunt texted to say, "That girl is going places." I wanted to reply, "Yeah, mostly in reverse, judging by how she handles that car," but I didn't. Instead, I kept working. Quiet. Steady. Showing up early, locking up late. One day, Rick tossed me the keys and said, "Open up tomorrow, will ya? I'm taking the weekend off. You're the only one I trust." That meant something. Maybe more than my own parents' approval ever would. About a month after Sierra got her car, I was working a double shift at the shop. Summer heat, 92 degrees, no AC in the garage, just a giant fan that mostly circulated sweat. Rick had left for his fishing trip, and I was holding down the fort. 8 oil changes, 2 brake jobs, one lady who asked if I could just buff the air out of her tires. You get used to weird requests when your name tag says Mason, mechanic. Around noon, I checked my phone on break. Family group chat was blowing up. Sierra had posted another mirror selfie from inside her car, captioned, "She purrs like a kitten and roars like a queen, face-blowing kiss." Followed by 12 heart emojis and one from my aunt that said, "You're living your best life." I didn't comment. What was I gonna say? Glad the suspension I adjusted for free is holding up. That was the thing. I'd helped with her car. She didn't know that part. Rick had actually given her a small discount on prep work before it left the lot. And I, idiot that I was, had stayed late fixing the calibration on her steering and flushing the brake lines just to make sure it was perfect. Not that anyone would say thanks. They probably thought the dealership installed confidence and grace right next to the cup holders. Anyway, that Sunday started like any other. Quiet. I slept in. For once. No wrench in my hand, no oil stains on my elbows. I made a microwave breakfast burrito and plopped down to watch some reruns of a show where people scream about kitchen knives like they're being hunted by the utensils. Around 3:30 p.m., my phone started buzzing. Sierra. Decline. Buzzed again. And again. Then a text from Mom. "Call your sister. Car trouble. She's stranded. Says it's urgent." Now here's the thing, I'm not heartless. But I am someone who notices patterns. Like how I only get calls from my family when something's broken. Never to check in. Never to say, "Hey Mason, how's work? How's life?" Just, "Hi, fix this." I called Sierra back anyway. She answered mid-freakout. "Oh my God, Mason, my car is like, completely dead. Like, not even blinking. It's just sitting here. In a parking lot. Like a corpse." I asked what happened. "I don't know. I was at brunch, and when I came back, it just wouldn't start. I pushed the button and it made a sad little click and then nothing. What am I supposed to do?" "Well," I said, still half chewing my burrito. "Could be the battery. Maybe the alternator. Can you come fix it? Where are you?" She rattled off some downtown cafe with a name like Exquisite or Yoke Vibes only. I couldn't keep track. I sighed. "Do you have jumper cables?" "No. EW. That's like dirty." "Okay, well, you'll need to get it towed." "Towed? On a Sunday?" "Yeah, most shops are closed today." There was silence. The kind where you can hear the ego deflating. Then she said, "Isn't Rick's open?" "Nope. Closed weekends." She groaned. "Ugh. Then who is open? I need this fixed now. I have work in the morning." That was the moment. I stared at the floor for a beat. The same floor I'd spent hundreds of hours on, standing in my steel-toe boots while everyone else got praise and perks and perks and praise. So I said it calmly. "There's one place open. It's small, but reliable." "Okay. Who?" "It's called Mason's." More silence. "Wait. You mean you?" "Yep. Your garage is open on Sundays?" I smiled. "It is now." I heard the heels before I saw her. Click-clack. Click-clack. Like someone trying to declare war on a concrete floor using nothing but designer boots and misplaced confidence. I was under the hood of a beat-up F-150 when Sierra strutted into the garage like she was auditioning for a reality show called Mechanics? EW. Hair curled. Nails done. Purse that probably cost more than my entire socket set swinging on her arm like a badge of privilege. And yes, sunglasses. Indoors. "Mason?" she said, looking around like she'd walked into a barn. I ducked out from under the hood, wiped my hands on a rag, and nodded. "Welcome to Mason's." She scrunched her nose. "It smells like oil and sadness in here." "Thanks. That's the air freshener." She blinked. I motioned toward the little waiting area I'd cobbled together from Craigslist chairs and a mini fridge with lukewarm water bottles. "Sit tight. I'll take a look at your car in a sec." She didn't move. Aren't you gonna get someone to do it?" I tilted my head. "You're looking at the someone. But aren't there other mechanics?" "Just me. I'm the mechanic. The manager. And I make a mean cup of coffee if you're into bitter disappointment. She looked around like someone had dropped her on Mars. I thought Rick owned this place. He does. But I run it on weekends. Full access. Tools, lifts, schedule. He trusts me. She gave a slow blink, like her brain was buffering. Wait, so this is your shop right now? Yes, Sierra. For the next 24 hours, you're in my domain. She sat down slowly, like the plastic chair might infect her with blue-collar energy. I went outside, popped her hood, and immediately saw the problem. Her alternator was shot. Classic overdraw. Probably from charging her phone, laptop, and hair curler all at once while blasting music and running seat warmers in summer. When I came back in, she was scrolling on her phone. Is it like dead? Alternator's gone. You've got power, but nothing's cycling. Battery's probably on its last leg too. She stared blankly. English? It's like your car's heart is failing. And the battery's the pacemaker. Which is now also dying. Oh my God! Is that expensive? I gave her a price. Standard. Actually, a little cheaper than what Rick would charge. She gasped. That's like my entire brunch budget. I raised an eyebrow. You're lucky I'm open today. Most shops wouldn't even pick up the phone on a Sunday. She looked up. Can you fix it, now? I leaned on the counter. You mean right now? On a Sunday? With no appointment? No, hey Mason, thanks for always being the guy who gets overlooked while I'm out here living my TikTok dream? She frowned. Mason, seriously. I'm stuck. I paused. Looked at her. Really looked at her. She wasn't used to asking. She was used to things being handed to her in glittery bags with tissue paper and applause. This wasn't that. So I nodded. I'll fix it. But you're paying. Full price. No family discount. Her mouth opened. Closed. Opened again. You're kidding. Nope. But I'm your sister. Exactly. She sat back, stunned like someone had cancelled her favorite reality show. I turned and walked toward the toolbox. And man, the sound of her not being able to argue. Better than a V8 engine. I didn't rush the repair. Not to be petty, well, maybe a little, but because I wanted Sierra to sit in it. Not just the cheap plastic chair. The discomfort. The realization that sometimes, life doesn't come with a bow or a banner. Sometimes it smells like burnt rubber and engine grease, and nobody claps when you're done. She sat in silence for a while, scrolling her phone. Then, probably realizing TikTok dances wouldn't get her home, she started glancing around. You built this area? She asked, nodding toward the makeshift waiting corner. Yep, I said, popping the hood. It's not terrible. That's the nicest thing you've said to me since 2017. She actually chuckled. That surprised both of us. Back under the hood I got to work. The alternator was cooked. Melted insulation on the wiring. Honestly, I was surprised she hadn't broken down sooner. Probably pushed the battery past its limit trying to power every beauty gadget known to mankind while driving 10 minutes to get iced lattes. But as I replaced the alternator, something about the silence felt different. Not cold. Just unfamiliar. 15 minutes in, Sierra wandered over to where I was working. You really know what you're doing, she said quietly. I glanced up. That's the point of the certification you all laughed at. She winced. We didn't laugh. Mom said, oh, so trade school is like backup college, right? You said, cute, that you're learning how to change tires professionally. And Dad? He asked if I'd still be living at home by the time I was 30. She looked down. I didn't mean it like that. I tightened a bolt and didn't answer. I guess I just thought you'd do more. I snorted. More than running a garage by 23? Paying rent? Helping people who walk in with real problems and no cash? Doing honest work? No, I mean... She stopped. Okay, yeah? Maybe I didn't get it. I didn't say anything. Just handed her a wrench. What's this for? She asked. Hold it. Just don't drop it on your foot. She held it like it might bite her. I walked back to the counter and rang her up. Total came to just under 600. Cheaper than anywhere else, and no upselling. Just labor and parts. When she saw the number, her face crumpled. Can I Venmo you in 2 parts? I raised an eyebrow. No discount? Nope. I'm your sister. You were also the one who posted Mechanic Brothers are cute, but I want a man with a real job. That was a joke. Sure. But jokes don't expire when the car breaks down. She sighed. Okay. 2 parts. Swear I'll pay. I nodded. All right. She transferred the first half. Then paused. You ever think about leaving? What, the shop? No. Like this town? Doing something else. Bigger. I leaned against the counter. I used to. But I kinda like where I'm at. I built something. Even if no one noticed. She looked at me differently then. Not like I was the dusty background character in the family slideshow. Not like the guy who just fixes things. But like someone who mattered. Someone who made his own way. You're really good at this, she said. That hit different. For a second, we weren't siblings with years of quiet resentment between us. We were just 2 adults, both realizing the gap wasn't as wide as we thought. She grabbed her keys. Thanks for today. Seriously. I nodded. Drive safe. And stop charging your flat iron in the car. She laughed. Noted. She left. The bell on the garage door jingled as it shut behind her. And me? I stood there for a while, hands still dirty, heart a little lighter. Not because she paid. Because, for once, she saw me. I didn't expect anything to change. I mean, Sierra said thanks. She paid half. She left without mocking my tools, which, frankly, felt like a miracle. But I figured by the next brunch photo dump, it'd be back to hashtags and high heels, and I'd fade into the background again, right behind her mimosa. But something shifted. The next morning, I woke up to 6 messages from my mom. Heard Sierra's car broke down. Did you fix it? She said it was expensive? You charged your own sister full price? We raised you better than that. You need to apologize. I stared at the screen, waiting for the hidden camera crew to jump out and yell, Gotcha! Family gaslighting edition! Then came the kicker. You could have at least offered a sibling discount. Family helps family. I sat up in bed, genuinely stunned. Not at the guilt trip, that was standard. But at the fact that Sierra actually told them. Told them I charged her. Told them I didn't kneel and kiss the ring of family loyalty. I didn't reply. Just rolled out of bed, made coffee, and got to work. Monday meant back-to-back jobs, and I didn't have time to unravel decades of favoritism through text. Around noon, my cousin Jenna stopped by the shop. She never stops by. Hey, she said, sliding her sunglasses up. Heard you rescued Sierra from the parking lot apocalypse. I nodded. Yep. She made it sound biblical? Oh, it was a whole thing. Said you were kinda scary, kinda bossy, and unexpectedly competent. Direct quote. I barked a laugh. Well, I'll get that on a business card. She also said you didn't take any crap. She was kind of impressed. I blinked. Jenna leaned in. You realize that's like the first time Sierra has admitted someone else was better at something? Must have been the heat. But Jenna just smiled. You made a statement, Mason. You didn't just fix a car. You flipped the script. After she left, I opened the family group chat. Big mistake. Mom had now roped in my aunt who wrote, If you're going to run a business, don't forget who supported you growing up. Right. Because one time in 9th grade they bought me steel-toe boots after telling me I had no vision. Then my dad chimed in. You embarrass your sister. Could have handled it better. That one got to me. I didn't say anything when they skipped my graduation. I didn't say anything when Sierra got a car and I got a you'll land on your feet pep talk over microwaved green beans. But now I'm embarrassing her. I stared at the chat for a good minute. Then, finally I typed. She came to me. I fixed it. I charged her fairly. If that's a problem, start your own garage and give out free labor. Until then, maybe just say thank you. I hit send, then muted the chat. An hour later, Sierra texted me directly. I didn't think they'd react like that. Sorry. I paused. Reread it. She was trying. So I replied, it's fine. Just don't forget who came through when no one else did. She heart reacted it. That was it. No more emojis. No jokes. Just a quiet acknowledgement. And I'll be honest. That silence from the group chat afterward? It was the most peaceful thing I'd ever experienced. 3 days. That's how long it took for the dust to settle after Sierra's Sunday meltdown. 3 quiet, buzzing with non-said stuff days where the family group chat stayed oddly muted, like everyone knew something happened, but no one wanted to say it out loud. And me? I just kept working. Changed 2 timing belts, did a full brake replacement on a work van, and fixed a coolant leak that smelled like expired Gatorade. Nothing dramatic. Just the rhythm of a guy who doesn't wait around for applause. Then, on Friday night, just as I was closing the garage, my phone buzzed. Uncle Brad. A name I hadn't seen in forever, not since he skipped my graduation cookout, which I'd planned myself, then posted a group photo captioned, "Family over everything." That somehow didn't include me. His message read, "Hey Mason! Long time no talk, hope you're doing well, bud. Quick question, your aunt's car is acting up. She mentioned you've got your own garage now?" Just like that. 0 warm-up. No. How've you been? No. Saw the garage, proud of you. Just straight to business. Or rather, straight to his business. I blinked. Read it again. And laughed. Because here's the thing, in my family, doing well meant you had something they could use. Suddenly, my name was coming up. But not because of anything I was. Only because of what I could fix. I replied, keeping it polite. Hey Brad. Yep, running the shop weekends and some nights. I've got availability Sunday at 10 a.m. Just let me know if she wants me to take a look. He responded 2 minutes later. Wait, you'd charge me? There it was. No shock. No surprise. Just expected entitlement. It's for your aunt, bud. Don't be cold. Family helps family. I sat on the edge of my desk, still in my grease-stained coveralls, and took a long sip of flat root beer. My hands were sore. My back ached. But my patience? That was long gone. This wasn't about a favor. It never was. It was about the fact that when I needed family, when I was living on vending machine dinners and taking buses to trade school at 6 a.m., nobody offered. Now I had something valuable. Suddenly, I was supposed to give it away. I typed slowly. I help a lot of people, Brad. I just ask they treat me like a professional. Standard rate. Same as everyone else. No response for 5 minutes. Then, wow. Bit harsh, kid. Don't forget who used to buy you school supplies. That one made me laugh out loud. He was referring to a single pack of mechanical pencils he gave me in 10th grade. I remembered because one snapped mid-test. So I replied, and don't forget who changed his own oil in the driveway at 14 because no one else would. We good or nah? Silence. I sat back. Checked the family group chat. Still muted. Still lit up with unread messages I didn't care to read. So I did something I hadn't done in years. I unmuted the chat. And I typed, "Hey everyone, quick PSA, my garage is open to all. Fair pricing. Quality work. But if your opening line is we're family, help me out, my schedule's full. Google's free. So's humility." I hit send. Muted it again. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel guilty. I felt in control. 20 minutes later, Sierra texted. Uncle Brad's fuming. Said you were disrespectful? Didn't know boundaries were disrespectful. I replied. She responded with a laughing emoji, then added, Honestly? I told him you'd say no. Kinda proud you did. That made me pause. kinda proud. 2 words I never heard growing up, especially not in my direction. I sat there in the quiet, surrounded by tools and the low buzz of the vending machine in the corner, and just let it sink in. This wasn't some dramatic revenge arc. This was me, slowly, finally, being seen. Saturday afternoon, just before closing, I heard the bell over the front door ding. I was halfway under the hood of a Civic with a bad serpentine belt, and called out automatically, "Be with you in a sec." Then I looked up and froze. It was my dad. Now, to be clear, I hadn't not seen him in years or anything dramatic. He still lived 15 minutes away. But the last time he walked into my workplace, I was 16 and bagging groceries. And even then, he mostly complained about how slowly I worked and how the real world isn't gonna coddle you. He looked around now like the shop was foreign terrain. Like he'd wandered into a country where he didn't speak the language and everything smelled like rubber and pride. "Hey," he said. I wiped my hands slowly. "You lost or—" He gave a tight smile. "Can we talk?" The tone said this wasn't about his car. The way his eyes scanned the place said he didn't expect it to look this real. "Sure," I said, walking him to the back office. Basically just a desk, a coffee maker, and a corkboard full of invoices and sarcastic memes. He sat down across from me, cleared his throat. "I heard what happened with your uncle." I leaned back in my chair. "From who? Him? Or the family broadcast team?" He ignored that. "You embarrassed him." I snorted. "He asked me for free labor. I offered a slot on the schedule. I'm not running a donation center. You could have said it nicer." I did. He didn't respond right away. Just looked at the floor like it held the answer he came here for. Then he said it. "You know, when you went to trade school, I thought you were settling." I stayed quiet. "Not because I don't respect hard work," he continued, "but because I thought you were giving up on more. You were smart. Thought you'd go into something bigger." I smiled without humor. "You mean something you could brag about?" He flinched. "Not much. But enough. I used to hear the other dads talking about their kids in law school, med school, and I'd say, well, my son's good with tools. And you said it like it was a punchline." I added. Silence again. "I came here," he said slowly, "because I realized something last week." "Oh? You've built something. On your own." "People talk about this place now. Not just in the family, in town. You're known. Trusted." I raised an eyebrow. And I underestimated that. "You." I waited. Not out of rudeness, but because I needed him to say it. "You deserve more credit than you've gotten," he said. "And I'm sorry for not saying it sooner." I leaned forward. "You know, Dad, I never wanted much. Just to be treated the same. Sierra finished 1 semester and got a car. I got certified, started working full-time, and you said, guess that's what happens when you don't aim high." His face tightened. "I thought I was pushing you." "You weren't," I said. "You were betting against me. And now that I've made something of myself, everyone's scrambling to cash in." He looked like he wanted to defend himself, but didn't. Instead, he asked, "So what now? You just shut us all out?" "No," I said. "I just stopped offering free respect." "You want back in? Cool. Earn it. Same way I had to." He looked me dead in the eyes. "That's cold." I stood up. "No. That's the temperature you set years ago." He didn't yell. Didn't slam a door. Just nodded slowly and left the office like he was walking out of a courtroom that didn't go his way. And I went right back to the Civic with the busted belt. Because, unlike half my family, it actually wanted fixing. The next week rolled by like any other. Wrenches. Oil. Country radio. The comforting rhythm of work that doesn't lie to you. You tighten something, it holds. You replace what's broken, it runs better. Simple. Honest. Unlike, say, being part of my family. Rick stopped by midweek with donuts. He was the kind of guy who didn't say much, but when he handed me the keys on Friday and said, "Full Saturday's yours again, they trust you more than me now," I knew what that meant. I'd made a name. Not a flashy one. Not the kind that got birthday cakes or framed in the hallway next to law degrees. But the kind that mattered to real people when their car wouldn't start and they didn't want to be scammed. Saturday morning, I opened up the shop early. Cleaned up the grease trap. Set up the waiting area with water bottles and some fresh coffee I'd picked up from the corner cafe. The regulars liked it when I did that. Around 10, the bell jingled. Sierra. No heels this time. No sunglasses inside. Just jeans, sneakers, and a nervous little smile like she was worried I'd toss a wrench at her for sport. "Hey," she said, walking in. "Don't worry. Nothing's broken. Yet." I nodded. "If it is, I charge double for influencer attitudes." She smirked. "There." She handed me a box, plain, small, kind of crookedly taped. "What's this?" "Open it later," she said. "Just, not in front of me." I raised an eyebrow but didn't argue. Then she paused. Looked around the shop. The walls. The shelves. The worn-out posters I still hadn't replaced. "You really built something here," she said quietly. I shrugged. "Still feels small some days." "Maybe. But it's real. And it's yours. That matters." We stood there in the weirdest truce ever. Then she added, "I told Dad he should have said it years ago." "Said what?" "That he was proud." I snorted. "He didn't even say it when I won the local business grant last year." She blinked. "Wait, you won that thing?" I nodded. 15 grand. Helped me get new lifts. Rebuilt the back bay." She shook her head. "Why didn't you tell anyone?" I leaned against the counter. "Why bother? They'd call it luck. Or timing. Or say I should use it to go back to school." Sierra sighed. "They're slow learners." I laughed. "That's generous." She looked like she wanted to say more but didn't. Just gave a little wave and left. I waited till the door shut, then opened the box. Inside was a framed photo of us as kids. I was maybe 10. Sierra was 12. We were in the driveway. I was under Dad's old truck, pretending to fix something with a plastic wrench. She was sitting nearby, bored out of her mind. On the bottom of the frame, she'd taped a label. "Just a mechanic." Then, in smaller writing, "Turns out, that's more than enough." I didn't cry. But I sat down for a while and just stared at it. And when I hung it up behind the desk, right where every customer could see it, I smiled. Because it wasn't revenge. It wasn't about proving anything. It was just peace. Earned. Quiet. Greasy-handed. Mine.